Now, one of the big question marks of the last year has been who will actually be running the show in any Biden-Harris administration. Obviously, Biden himself can't carry the burden of the presidency. He can't even get through a weekend with his dog. But someone has to call the shots. It's now obvious that on the three topics of foreign policy, trade policy, and China, areas where the Trump administration charted a bold new course, the real power in a Biden administration would be Tony Blinken, his pick for Secretary of State.
How will Joe Biden, as a president, view China? Partner, competitor, rival, enemy, what and how?
Probably some combination of all of the things you just said.
How profound. Now, let me get this straight. First, Biden says that China is not a threat. Then his pick for Secretary of State says they're almost partners with us? What's next? President Xi helps decorate the White House Christmas tree next year? So what are Blinken's plans? Now, if you saw my back and forth last night with Doug Schoen, you'll know that his agenda is marked above everything else by the notion that America must never, ever do anything on its own. Here's a quote from Blinken. "We are not the leader of first choice because we're always right or because we're universally liked. It is because we can strive to the best of our ability to align our actions with our principles and because our leadership holds the ability to mobilize others and make a difference." Now, let's look at this quotation carefully. Now, the first sentence simply assures us that America's power doesn't come from the righteousness of its cause, the appeal of its political system or its economic and political might. Okay, can you imagine Washington or Lincoln or FDR or Reagan or, of course, Trump talking about America in such a dismissive way? Well, so far, so bad. Of course, though, it does echo one of our previous leaders.
There have been times where America's shown arrogance and been dismissive, even derisive.
That the Americans are not your enemy. We sometimes make mistakes. We have not been perfect.
Though we've made our share of mistakes, some restoration of America's standing in the world. The United States is still working through some of our own darker periods in our history.
Well, the Biden dark winter is just beginning, but I digress. What does Mr. Blinken see as America's strengths? Well, first he says that we strive to the best of our ability to align our actions with our principles. Well, that statement is just Diplo, meaningless speak. Every government seeks to align its actions with its principles. President Xi does this in China. So does Mayor de Blasio, of course, in New York. So does Albus Dumbledore at Hogwarts. The second great strength of America, and the only real one, according to Mr. Blinken's quote, is that our leadership holds the ability to mobilize others and make a difference. So according to him, America acting alone counts for nothing. We're only important if we can mobilize others. Now, so we didn't win the Cold War with troops or money. We simply mobilized others. The protesters in Hong Kong this summer, they did not wave American flags because they believed in our ideal of freedom. They were just happy that we have other countries on speed dial, apparently. But what if other countries refuse to be mobilized? What if, heaven forbid, they actually put their interests ahead of ours?
For decades, the same tired voices proposed the same failed solutions, pursuing global ambitions at the expense of their own people. But only when you take care of your own citizens will you find a true basis for cooperation.
For example, what if Mr. Blinken asked the Europeans for help on China, and they say no, stuff it? What if he asked them to put pressure on Iran, and they refuse? Well, I guess he's out of options because his only power, the power to mobilize others, won't always work. Blinken is essentially announcing to the world that we will never act unilaterally. We'll depend on the goodwill of other countries. Well, this has been tried before.
America can't do this alone. The Afghan people need our troops and your troops, our support and your support. The future that we are building together, not separately, and that starts right here in Europe. The people of Europe are more secure and more prosperous because we stood together for the ideals we share.
The Europeans held the Obama administration in such low esteem that they did nothing of any significance to help Obama with China. The Japanese and other Asian countries signed the Trans-Pacific Partnership. But that deal was so bad for the United States and so favorable to other countries, even Hillary Clinton had no choice but to oppose it. Now, one thing we know about foreign policy is that everyone knows how to take advantage of a sucker. So when Blinken tries to mobilize the EU against China, he'll have to sacrifice our trade policy to please EU bureaucrats at the WTO to even get a hearing. He'll trade American jobs by eliminating the tariffs put in place by President Trump, which he has already previewed.
Does Trump have a point that there is a systematic set of predatory practices that Europeans have enacted?
He has a point on specific products and industries, but starting a trade war with our closest allies is not the way to make that point and to make it effectively. He's now started a race to the bottom.
Well, Blinken will put Israel and the entire Middle East at risk by doing what Europe wants on Iran and giving the mullahs a free hand and some mad money. This is what he said about the Obama administration's nuclear deal that Trump pulled us out of.
That's made us safer, made countries around the world safer. Part of that involved lifting sanctions on Iran, and that freed up money that had been frozen around the world, that Iran had in bank accounts that it couldn't bring back to Iran. The overwhelming majority of that money is going into their economy, which is in dire straits. It's not going.
How do we know?
Military. We know.
Blinken knows. How dare you question him? And China? Blinken will get a hero's welcome in Beijing.
He won't be as tough on China as Trump has been. He's tried to stir up anger toward China around the world. He's tried to destroy China in this way.
I think it's good for the world that Biden has won.
Biden and his globalist lackeys will pour new investments into China, energizing its efforts to become the most powerful country on earth. And as China gets stronger and we get weaker, we must make Blinken's peace through surrender policy a major issue going forward, including in the Georgia Senate race. I don't believe that the people of Georgia want to give up on American sovereignty and leave themselves wholly dependent on the goodwill of the Europeans, the Canadians, or any other country for that matter. The confirmation hearing for Blinken must feature sharp and focused questioning from Republicans who challenge his follow-the-world foreign policy. And then, as the inevitable results of Blinken and Biden's failed approach become manifest, we can go back to the country, let's say in 2022, 2024, and seek a return to common sense and a renewed focus on our national interest. And that's the angle.